chosen. My shirt. Chosen. Yes. But okay, so my topic was free will. Okay, so y'all know I like to engage. So what can anybody give me a definition of free will? You can give it to me in your own way. That's good. Anybody say what free will is to you? Well, with my notes, what does it mean to have free will? It means you have the power to choose, change, and be morally accountable. Free will isn't just choice. Like I said, it's about being accountable. Because of humans using their free will to disobey God, God's justice demands consequences for willful rebellion. So we're gonna take a look. Um, great. I want you to read Matthew 4, 1 through 11, please. Yeah, verse 1 through 11. Thank you. You did great. Very well said. So I asked her to read Matthew 4, 1 through 11, because there, with Jesus fasting and praying for 40 days, the devil tried to make Jesus exercise his free will. Okay. Um, Making him, you could take it back to Adam and Eve. He made them exercise their free will. Um, if you want to take it back, then a lot of people exercise their free will. I have too. But in this particular situation, the devil tried to make Jesus exercise his free will by, giving him this, offering this, and this, and this. He tried multiple times. So what I'm saying is free will do exist. Um, there's a free will and there's a God will. So I don't know. The question is, why did God give us free will? If you would yes, sure. Mhm. Absolutely. That he was man and God. Yes. Everybody is born with a free will. Even Satan had his free will, which he exercised it negatively by disobeying God. So Satan knows out of everybody what exercising your own free will will do. That's why I feel like he gets us to do it. He know out of all people what will happen if you disobey God. You suffer the consequences. So now he's here with, I can say with us, but among us, trying to get us to exercise our own free will. He did it with Adam and Eve. That was the start of it. You know, just bringing that up with God telling them, do not eat of this tree. You can eat of any tree, but do not eat of that tree. That was a choice. That was a free will given to them. You know, how can I say it? They could have chose to obey God. No, I'm not eating of that tree, but they exercised their free will and ate of it, and we are suffering the consequences from it. Um, I'm kind of jumping ahead of my notes a little bit, but yeah, but it's okay, it's good. But I would say when people ask, "But why did God make us with our own free will?" You know, since we always exercising it. But I would say it's because He did not want us to be a slave to Him. So if you don't have a free will, if I just grab Apostle Sandy or Delisa and threw them in a room and locked them in the, and you gonna do what I tell you to do, and they don't. That's that's crazy. That's torture. I don't want to do that, and it'll probably make them hate me. You know how children sometimes get mad at you because you tell them what to do. They get mad. I don't know if they hate you, but you would think so sometimes. So yeah, I mean, I would say that God does not want us to be a slave to Him. So when a person does not have a free will, it automatically makes them a slave to whatever person that's in command. And God do not want us to be slaves. So yeah, that's how I feel. Anybody got anything they want to add to it? Okay. Mhm. That's right. That's right. Yes, 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 yes. Um, how do anybody want to speak about how they feel when they don't have a choice? I don't like to be made to do nothing. I don't like it. Moral choice. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Right. I can see what you're saying. Mhm.
give up my free will. Just make me do what is right, what is according to your will for your will. But I know that that's really when I'm giving up my right to choose, really honestly, I'm being one with Him. Because really, as truly a believer in Christ, you know, we shouldn't give our foot our flesh a choice. You know, but again, that just takes years of discipline, growth, maturity, get to that point. Yeah.
Good job. Good job. Somebody else?
Well, I put it as what contradictory things. And I think like when it comes to the things of the Lord, it's like a relationship. You know, when you have a certain relationship, you don't feel, you know, when the Lord is commanding you to do a thing, you don't really feel it as a chore. It's like, you know, just like a parent. You know, if you were sick and on your parent, you can do something, you know, you do it. Yeah, sometimes my question, sometimes I make choices, you know, whatever, but the thing is, you know that, okay, my father said, you, you know, saying it's like, to me, it's relationship.
Yes, that's good. Um, you can anybody else. In the Bible, when Jesus was about to die on the cross, and he asked God, "Can you remove this cup of suffering from me? Yet not my will, your will be done." That stood out to me because that let us know that there are two wills at work, which is free will and God's will. Um, Anybody thoughts on that scripture? Um, like when he asked, "Did I think Jesus had free will?" Yes. When he asked God to take the cup of suffering from him, but he said, "Not my will." He's stating he had one. I can just only imagine him not doing, him obeying his own free will, being sent here to do a big work. That was a major work, and he didn't use his free will at all. That's amazing. I don't know. I don't know. He was always focused on God's will, which was perfect. Had he did his own thing, I don't know. I mean, he would have messed up the whole redemption. I mean, everything just by not obeying what his father told him to do.
So there's a doctrine called hypostatic.
Mhm.
And basically, what it declares is that God, Jesus was 100% God, 100% man. Okay? So it's a hypostatic union. So it's like the extreme. So it doesn't make him 200%, it's still 100% God, 100% man. So same death. And I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm right, or I'm right and you're wrong, whatever the case may be. But what I see the scripture says is that Jesus couldn't have free will. And the reason being is this: as long as he still had 100% divinity, still 100% God, God can't sin. God can't make a wrong choice. You see what I'm saying? I think his humanity was more so as being an expression to us that he understands us because he's hungry, because he felt pain, he suffered, he got sick, all those different things. I just can't imagine, and maybe also you can help me think this through. I just couldn't see him, even though the scripture says that he asked the Father to let this cup pass from me. And I think that was his 100% humanity crying out, saying, Lord, I know for that moment I'm going to be separated from you. It wasn't really about the pain, the suffering that he was about to go through, but it was being separated. When his sins was put on him, our sins were put on him. The Father had to turn his back because again, as Scripture says, he cannot see sin. He cannot be in the presence of sin. So I believe that Jesus asked that because for the first time in eternity, the Father, the Son, were going to be separated. And I think that Jesus didn't want to do that. But then his divinity took in and said, but not my will be done, but thy will be done. So it may sound like that he had a choice, but I don't think he could have made that choice.
The word sent, God, in John 3:16, God sent his only begotten Son. He sent him. That is the part of the apostolic that a lot of people, because we get taught in religion, so then we have to be untaught those things, about like the choice. God sent his only begotten Son. He didn't give him a choice. He sent him, and he put him on the cross to redeem us. There was no choice there. He was already on the cross when he said, "If this cup will pass away." He was already there. He was already there. It wasn't like, "Oh, I see that cross, and you're not going to put me on that cross." He didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
He did not have a choice there. Yeah, he was sent, and that is the part of the apostolic of teaching the kingdom. When you teach the kingdom, like you're breaking it down, which is very good. I mean, I always enjoy the open discussion because we have different levels of where people are coming from. And so it gives a perspective of, okay, you say it this way and you say it that way. But then, when we all come together in agreement and we break it down, it gives us all that maturity of growth in here that we understand that we we have a choice because he sent his only begotten Son to redeem us, to give us that choice. But he did not have a choice. He was already on the cross when the Lord said, in John 3:16, he sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him is not perish but have everlasting life. There was a purpose and a plan of why he put him on that cross. So like the Apostle said, he was sent. He was sent to the cross. He said, "I'm sending my Son." But as we grow, that's the part of that, as this young fellow here said, in relationship. And I think Lisa said it too, it's relationship. Him being on that cross, he already had the maturity. You understand what I'm saying? He already had the maturity here that he was not going to be mature. He already knew it was for a greater work that was taking place. That he was, it'd be good if I don't have to be crucified here. I mean, he really wants to be crucified. But he knew it was for a greater work and that he wasn't going to stay in that place. And as we mature, do you know, as being a single one, I don't always like what God does with me. It's like I said, it'd be so much easier to sit here and just, allow everybody else to do it and not have the warfare and the sacrifices. But that's the part as us understanding the kingdom work of building the kingdom that it's not my life anymore. And that's the part is we give up our free will because I don't want it to be my life anymore. Because when Candy chooses, when you choose, we make a mess of it. But then when we realize that God has the greatest plan for our life, we're ready to lay it down. That's when we don't even fear death anymore. Death, where's your sting? You don't have those things don't seem like that anymore because you've come into a mature place with the Lord and that relationship with that. I'm ready to sacrifice I'm not that old person anymore because he redeemed me. So as I mature in him, it's like, yep, if I gotta give up this, and if I can't go there, then I know it's for a greater purpose of where he's got something greater for us. And so it doesn't hurt as much to have to move from this place or to shut this door over here or let this season, you know, roll on because we already know we're in his hands and he has greater for us. We've seen it time and time again. It's like, wow, I look back now at what I went through. I really didn't like what I was going through. I probably complained about it more than I even should have. But now looking back, hindsight, right? Hindsight is that, wow, I'm saying now, wow, I had to go through that. And the purpose was I did give up my will to do his will, but his will is so much better. It's so much greater. So that part is the sin.
Yes.
In that sent one,
Yes.
because we are sent one.
Yes.
And then sin, we might not like the cross that we gotta bear, but we're gonna bear it because we're mature.
That's right.
And listen to this verse, Revelation 13. It says, and all who dwell on the earth will worship him. Everyone whose name has not been written before the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. So before the heavens and the earth were even created, the Lamb of God was already slain for the sins of you and I. Before we were even created. So what we saw on the cross 2,000 years ago, what man, what earth saw on the cross was a glimpse into eternity past coming to the fruition. So for Jesus to say, well, Father, you know what? I don't want to bear this pain. You're going to have to find somebody else. This would have directly contradicted what happened before the heavens and the earth was even created.
And the prophecy was fulfilled. It would have contradicted everything about it. Revelation said,
Right,
what,
right.
you know, he is the Alpha, he is the Omega. If he's really the Omega, you know, we see the beginning, but we don't know the end yet. The end is not come. We're still waiting for the rapture or what is going to take place next. But he's already in the beginning and he's in the end. So he can't be contradicted. He knows it all. Yeah, that's it. It gets deep. And sometimes you try not to get too deep in because you don't want to lose, that. But it's like what you said, the free will, that is very good, but it's also good to understand that he didn't do it for himself. He really didn't. But he's the only one that I know that, you know, was the true sent one to the cross because we sent up places before. We said, oh no, it's right here. You know, that disobedience because we chose our will instead of his, even though it doesn't bring good results in the end, and we have to learn from it. It's like the repercussions of the things of our nature. You know, but he's the one that was sent in specific.
So, yes, go ahead, sweetie.
And the fact that, like, going back to what you said, the fact that he took this why couldn't he just, why couldn't he just guide his people and stop compromising with people that, don't believe in that. Stop compromising, when they're talking about God, they're talking about this and oh, God made you, God made this, God made that, you can just do this, God gave him free will. It's like, why would you want to do that? And then others rather sit there and go with it instead of going against it.
That's right. Oh, this is good, y'all teaching me. But I would like to say this to Pastor. A question, I could say it's a question. But when you was talking about that Jesus didn't have a choice in that, because he was sent. But what I'm saying is, how can I say this? Yes, he was sent to, I'm trying to, not, I don't want to sound confusing. Yes, he was sent to die on the cross, but would that have, like, him making different choices, like, you know how we all have a destination? Like, no matter what we do, we are destined for this. God's will be done. But still saying, if Jesus had made a little small choice, well, I ain't going, or I'm a do this, like would it had detoured the cross. Not saying he still wouldn't have got to the cross, but him being human and divine, anybody get what I'm saying? A wrong, one little choice of I'm not going to do this would have had detoured the cross. Yeah, he would have made it to the cross, but the question is, would it have detoured it? Would it have slowed it down or made but God's will was still done. You get what I'm saying? But,
He didn't have a choice.
yeah.
He never had. He was sent by God, but he never had a choice whether he was going to, even in his humanity, he never had a choice. The human side is just for us to see,
Yeah.
To feel and to understand that, okay, I have experienced the things that you will go through, right? So he was the tangible for us.
Yeah.
And that's like we're the tangible for others.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the example of the tangible for us. So when the Lord sent him, going back to what Apostle read in Revelation, this is something that already was done.
Mm-hmm.
It was already ordained, it was already
Mhm.
written in the heavens that these things would happen, so he did not have a choice. It was he couldn't say, well, Daddy, I don't want to go on that road. That I don't want that. I'm not doing it. He
Mm-hmm.
couldn't say that. He had no choice in the matter. So I guess I'm trying to answer your question. There is no choice. There was
Would
no
you
choice
say
for
that he had full control over his free will? Now when I say that, see, it's deep. Why I'm saying that is okay. Can you read John chapter 6 verse 38?
So she's looking it up.
Mhm.
To answer your question about the timing of it, you have to remember that the very moment, the very second that Jesus took his last breath on earth,
Mhm.
it was already set in heaven. So there was could he delay, could he have stayed, could he have stayed in the wilderness, one extra day instead of getting, I believe, arrested, crucified on, Friday afternoon and delayed it until Saturday? No, he couldn't, because that very precise moment in history was already set in stone.
But there's the thing.
I just want to read this before I read one of them.
Yeah.
The very first prophecy about Jesus is in Genesis 3, like you were talking about Adam and Eve,
Mhm.
and 3:15 is, and I will cause hostility between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will strike your knee, and you will strike his heel. That's like going back, adding on to what he was saying, that's like from the very beginning, in Genesis it talks about, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the divinity part is this. Remember, we talk about apostle, prophet. These were the prophecies. Jesus already knew if there was a betrayer in the room. If he knew these things.
Yeah.
He knew that he was going to the cross. He knew these things. He knew that he was going, but he had no control over it. That's why I'm trying to get people. It's a little bit
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get people to understand.
Yes.
He knew that he was going to be with. He knew that he was going to be betrayed. When Peter did what he did, he was going to deny him. When Judas did what he did, he already knew these things. He knew these things, but he didn't have a choice. He had to allow these prophecies, these things. He knew ahead of time, but he couldn't stop it.
Mhm.
He had to fulfill the things of God. That's part of, he was born in flesh, but he had to fulfill the way that like when you talk about destiny, knowing your he had to fulfill destiny. It was destiny. It was already written in the heavens what he had to do here on earth. So he did not. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it gets real.
I would say, I'm not gonna say that
Lines here.
not that say that he did not have a free will. I feel like he was showing us how to control our free will. He was an example of being in human form. Like, okay, I have a will too, but I'm gonna show you how to do my father's will. Like we was supposed to been made Adam and Eve, we supposed to have a plan, you know, but we used our free will. And I feel like Jesus being sent, not saying that he could have used his free will, but I feel like he was an example of yes, I have a free will, but the fact that I'm being controlled by my father's will, I can override my free will. I'm not saying yes, it was gonna come to pass, but he was a walking example, I feel, of this is what it's like to not use your free will and to walk according to God's will. And he fulfilled. I mean, he went all the way to the end of he did his job. But that's just my like this just open, but that's just my opinion on it. But yeah, can you read that?
What is it again?
John 6, verse 38.
For I have come down from heaven to do the will of God who sent me, not to do my own will.
So, any thoughts on that verse? Yes, yes, but I'm just saying, him speaking of a will, what will? You know, what my not to do my will, but to do his will. Um, that's what had me open to, well, did he have a free will? I'm not saying he did, but I'm using him as an example of speaking, I did not come to do my will, but the will of the Father who sent me. So did you have a will, Jesus? You get what I'm saying?
So just by what you read,
Mm-hmm.
context, we look at it like, okay, I've come to this earth to do his will. I can't do my will. That wasn't an option. That wasn't even
So, but what she's trying to say is he he had a will. That's what she's trying to say. She believes that there was a part he had a will because he's saying in his human form there was a part of him that had a will, even though he was sent. She's what I'm getting from what she's saying. He did he not? Because why does he keep mentioning not my will? I come in my own will. Why is he mentioning that? Which explains the example that he's bringing to us to say that, we have free will. But this just me. I don't have a will. I don't. I don't. Now, some people may say they do. I don't have a will because I've chosen to follow Christ.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not about what I want to do. It's not about how I want to do it. It's really not. It becomes one of those things where I'm trying to do what it takes to please the Father. And that's
Yes.
what he was doing.
Yes.
What the Father's will was
Yes.
for his life, that's what he did. And it wasn't a gray area. There was no gray area in his life. There was really no gray. For us, we find gray. We try to put, well, I got a will and I can choose whether I want. Well, really, you don't. Because the choice that you make is either going to be life or death. So really, if you don't want to die, you're going to do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying a physical death, I'm saying spiritual. And that's worse than, yes, that's worse than a physical death. Yeah, you don't have a will. Yeah. Because without holiness, No man shall see
Amen.
God.
So
When you get to a place, when you arrive to a place in the spiritual, you don't even want to think about, because in the world, my will was a mess. Yeah. So I don't want to live. I don't want to live in a spiritual place saying, well, I'm gonna give God his will today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna give myself my will. That's where when we, because like what it said, Jesus was an example. But if he's in us, we become the example where our will is out the window. Just like Jesus. Just like his life was. That's how I like When I receive that, that's where that's how you can know people's language. You can know where they are spiritually when you don't even have to talk. Let them talk. And you can hear where they are mature by, and you'll know, okay, because again, it's like if you say that I say that I received Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and I start talking to you, and then I talk to you about, well, I did it this way, I did it, but where is that kingdom language at? Is where again, our will goes out the window because I receive Him, so I become the example of Him. I become the hands, the feet, the mouthpiece. It's no longer my will anymore, like Jesus. There's no will there. For me, there's no, I have no will.
Right, and like what is something like people like this is saying was saying, even if like I don't have a choice, like you said, like even if I was to, for example, compromise, like as me being a radical person, if I was to compromise, I would do it wrong in all areas of life because I know that this is not right and I'm just compromising with this person. So I would still especially with myself because I know that God's not pleased with what I have done. Lord, I'm sitting there compromising with people or just being around people that and God, you know, and then I can't the people that are not like me, I can't see those people differently. I have to do it in love. I have to, you know, I can still see, you know, but as far as pulling with them or hanging out with them and just talking about nonsense, I just can't do it because it's out there. Yeah.
So all of y'all said is the right thing. Thank you for reading that. But when you said Toya's trying to say this, that's exactly what I was trying to say. But when you were saying that I don't have a will anymore, but the way she explained it, like, yes, I'm trying to say it the way y'all understand it.
Yeah, and
When
you're
she
doing right. It's
yes,
not that. It's not
no, that's how I was trying. How can I say it without confusing, throwing everything
I
off?
get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but, I think upon permission and it
Y'all
might
was
be
in
me.
the
It
yeah,
might be
yeah,
the
y'all,
teacher, the
y'all up
prophet.
here.
No, it's not.
No, I'm just saying,
It's
really,
that
yeah,
we
yeah.
want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because if we go out here and you go up there and tell somebody that we taught this, that, and the other, then me and the prophet Bishop gonna be standing up there doing a podcast on it because we know what we're
Responding
saying.
to what I said.
And we want to make sure that everybody in here, there are no gray areas. Yeah.
Right, right. I ain't gonna go on Facebook, throw no shots.
No, I know.
Anybody else pastor think that Jesus? Yeah. I'm not gonna do that. I promise. But yeah, but like she was saying, she was like, I don't have a will anymore. But but because you made a choice to obey God. But before, I feel like that is Jesus. He already came here obeying God. So no, he didn't have a free will. But he was there you go. There you go. I feel like the divine was more at work in him than his free will. It was overriding his free will. And that's what I feel like it is with us. Yes.
He never knew what it was. He never knew what we knew as
Yeah.
will. He never had a choice. And
Because
so
he come from yeah.
here in the earth, we came in. Remember, we came in um, born in sin, shaped in iniquity. We came in that way. And he knew right, and he never knew sin at all.
Yes.
So
yes.
we have experienced, you know, the sin nature. So that's why we say we have a choice. But when we decide, when we truly get to that place where we are sold out for Jesus, and we're not going to do anything but what His Word declares, and even to the place where when you get to that place, you'll find yourself. This is me. I find myself not even the stuff I used to do. I don't even think about it. It don't entice me. I don't want to go to it. I don't even want to drink it, eat it, smoke it, smell it. It doesn't. It's no longer a part of me. It's like those things have been taken off of me, right? So choice, it ain't even about a choice because I've already made my choice. I've chosen to follow Jesus, regardless as to whether it's just me by myself or it's me and y'all. But I've chosen, to follow Jesus. So that's why I always say, and I've said this for many years. Everybody keeps talking about we got a choice. I ain't got a choice. I don't know why they keep saying they got a choice because then all it tells you really don't have a choice.
Even the Apostle Paul, he refers to himself many a times. I'm a slave to him.
Yeah.
A slave don't have no choice.
You know?
So even he had that mindset they come to the Lord.
Mary didn't have a choice. Mary didn't have a choice. I mean, she didn't ask the Holy Spirit to come and impregnate her. She knew what was going on. And they were all, even Joseph, he was ready to run out the door because, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have a choice. God already ordained it.
In fact, the angel didn't say, well, Mary, do you want to carry the son of God?
I mean, we can go back to the scripture. I don't think so. That was.
Now, in certain instances, I feel like, no, there's not a choice in the making. But when he created us, he gave us a free will,
That's right.
you know, and with Adam and Eve. So,
They messed up.
but yeah, so when you were saying Apostle Paul said he don't have, you know what I'm saying, a choice, that was when God came in. But before then, he had a lot of choices. He had a lot of free will he was doing. He was wilding out. Yeah, he was wild. Oh, and Lisa.
I'm sorry. Oh, I was gonna say, even though we,
No,
my
you
mind
fine,
went
but I
somewhere
remember
else. I
taking
got
notes.
in the way, so I was saying, oh, but I was gonna say, even, you know, we can choose how we live, you know, God still has the final say over our lives because we don't get to choose. I mean, we can choose how we live, but he's already made that choice of you either, going heaven or going hell. And so our end is still up to him, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But again, with scripture, you're right. There's no wrong or right. We're all learning tonight.
Yes.
But this is the thing is we learn about relationships
Mhm.
because you know the world is messy with relationships. You know, the older I get, these relationships are really fickle. I mean, everybody wants to trade in husband, wife, and mother, father.
Mhm.
You know, sister, brother, they like you one day, they love you the next.
Yeah.
One day, your mama the next.
I'm
That's
sure.
it. But this is the thing is, when we become in a true covenant relationship, my husband and I have been married. Look, some days we wake up and it's like, you know, wow, we don't always like wake up like honeymoon days. You know,
Yeah.
like some days we like maybe 2 weeks apart instead of 1. But when we're together, we can start talking. I already can say like something about food or something about like going somewhere, and it was already like I was already going to ask for that. Same thing with me. Sometimes you can finish my nut and I start laughing because like wow, we've been together so long now. It's like we're just fine. But that's the same way with our relationship with the Lord. The closer and the more intimate we become, the more intimate we become. I don't care how long you've been together. The more intimate you become, the closer you will feel connected. The more you will want to be connected. It's when you start growing apart that things come in the way, doors open, people get intertwined in there. But the more intimate you become in your relationship with God first, that relationship with Him, that will move what I feel for what I want to do. And then what happens is not compromising. It's you love them so much that if that's what's going to make you happy,
Come on.
and that's going to keep
Yeah.
us more intimate,
Mhm.
then that's what we're going to do. It don't
Right.
even matter what I want to
Yeah.
do because now
Yeah.
I want to put it through. I want to put it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's like your relationship, and people are so fickle with relationships nowadays. It's like when they start coming, it's like all of a sudden, like Lord, Holy Spirit, help me here because they coming over here to me. Like if they ain't supposed to be in my life, if they're not supposed to be around me, I want to love you. You know, I want to serve and all that, but don't come too close to me because you're not really aligned with me. Because I've seen the alignment before, and I'm like Jesus when here comes the Lord, Lord, you know. He's like, yeah, when it comes first 3 times, I already know you're gonna betray me. If you, the Holy Spirit's in you, how can you not help think like Jesus? That I already know what you're gonna do to me, but I'm gonna still let you come around me. But I already know, so I'm gonna prepare my heart because you're not gonna break my heart like that. Because we're gonna have it broke so much that's the breaking of the Lord too. Is that's the part of that maturity and that growth in Him is that it's a process. That's the part of the process. You know, you're not if you don't need the bread, it'll never turn out right. It'll come lumpy and bumpy and ugly. But if the more you need it, the more you work with it, the more it'll roll out.
Amen.
Or before that bread will look. If the bread look good, taste good, I mean, what's the wrong? the vote on it, let's go. It's the way it is.
And the Holy Spirit
They not sure.
She's talking about kneading the dough, right? Kneading the dough.
Yeah.
When you said, we knead the dough or the bread, my mind went to I need the word of God. I need the word of God. So in that kneading, with the producing of the bread, the dough, it's a process of it. It's because we need the bread, the word, the whole word.
Because where you're coming from in John 6 is talking about, I am the bread of life. That scripture is talking about doing his work, the scripture is being fulfilled right here without us even reading the Bible, but thank you, Lord, and he's Lord present. So he's not gonna let us, he's not gonna let us be gray areas or confused because he's talking it out. He's talking it out through his servants.
When folks are relationship, we only feel to do what's right.
There you go.
We only feel that that's the only thing that we feel.
That's why I said we don't have a choice. We
Yeah.
own it. We got right there.
Yeah.
That's why, because
Yeah.
we only know to do what's right. I only do what I see my father do. I only
Right.
what to do. I mean,
Right.
literally, that's how we
Yeah.
are. I mean,
Yeah.
we at once had a free will, but we don't. That's why I get so frustrated, with relationships and stuff like that. It's like if we just get to a place of maturity. But if you I feel that way, can you imagine how our Father in heaven feels? That it's like, imagine if we could grow into relationship with me, divorce rates would go down, suicide rates would go down, unity rates would go up, revival would show, the great awakening would come. But we can't. We cannot put on the mind of Christ like he tells us to do in his word. Put on the mind of Christ, put on the armor of God, and let's go to work. But no, we're too fickle. We're too fickle with relationships. It's like I love you today, but if you come and correct me tomorrow, I don't know. You might be out of my circle. I might not give you no more bread. And sometimes we need that correction because it's just like in the sea when the prophet Elijah went to the house of the widow. Right. She could have missed a miracle and her son could have really lay there dead and never come back to life. But because she obeyed and she already had a relationship with the Lord, nobody can tell me no different because otherwise that woman said, look, I ain't got but a little bit of food here. My son's he's gonna get up, exactly. He's gonna be hungry, and I'm gonna be hungry, and you are a stranger to us. But she let that man come in and stay in her upper room because she already had a relationship with God that gives her. So don't tell me that y'all don't know when you're in the presence of the Lord around people or not. People get around and they say praise the Lord, or they have a relationship with God and stuff, and then you don't feel nothing, and then you see the evil through it. You already know, well, I'm shutting this door because ain't no devil coming in this house today. You gonna open the door and let the thief come in and rob and kill you? No, you're gonna shut that door because you already know. So she knew that. She was carrying the presence of God, and that prophet was carrying the missile that brought her in that house. We have to have we have to be in relationship. There's so much more. It is a will. It is a free will. But we've got to go into the relationship. The Lord wants relationship. You know what? He can tell. And I love the church. I love the building. I love it. But the more he sends me out, I also say this. He's not counting how many times you show up here. He wants to know how many times you call on him. You're talking to him. How much relationship you have him. Because you might show up here just one day out of the week. You might show up here every other week. That's not reaching the heaven. A lot of people in the churches, there's going to be many. There's going to be many days I'm supposed to. They'll never make it to heaven. Yeah, church attendance ain't going. That's not. He's not up there with a roster saying, "Oh, well, you come 100 days out of the year, or you come 365 days in the year." He's not. He's not looking for a church attendance. He is looking for loyalty. He is looking for honor. He is looking for those things. And accountability. He is looking for those things. But it's not how many times we show up at the church. How many times we show up before him.
love him, you show up. It don't matter if you will honor the people. You will do the things that you will be okay
Wash
with
your
being
feet,
accountable.
brush
You
your
will
hair,
be
you
okay
if I
with
have
being
to.
loyal.
Yeah.
If you love him,
If you're committed to him, if
Yeah.
you're loyal to him, if you love him, guess what? Offense will have no domination over you. Think about that. I'm coming here not because you offended me, because you don't agree with how I do it. I'm here because I love him.
Common, that one cause, the one cause is what we bring us together as unity. And if we do have some type of offense or unforgiveness and stuff, that's why it's a conviction, not bringing condemnation, because condemnation and conviction don't go hand in hand. A lot of people try to bring condemnation on you like that, but no, that's why Jesus was on the cross, not to bring condemnation, but to bring conviction, to give us a consecrated life, a consecrated heart.
I can't get it. Not the tea. Thank
We
you,
all,
Apostle.
we're all, no,
Thank
we're all
you,
learning. That's the beauty of this, is a training.
I like open conversation.
It's not church as usual, it's
No.
a training for reigning. The
Right.
training in here to receive our reward. Amen. By giving faithful service, that's what at the end of the day. Amen. By giving faithful service.
Anybody else? Wow, that's good.
the only thing
So
that
this-
I can say is real quick.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, say
But
it.
this is what I heard about, I mean, just that scripture that says that which you've done unto the least of them, you've done it to the least. If we could just understand, going back to what Apostle was saying about loving him and having a relationship with him, and then we love him. If our love is vertical, not, it'll be okay, it'll be easy for me to love more about him. Because if I love him, I'm gonna be okay with loving you. Regardless of what you look like, smell like, act like, I'm gonna be okay. And so therefore, the honoring and the loyalty, it won't be an issue. The accountability, it won't be an issue. Because again, scripture says that that which you've done unto the least of them, if you betrayed them or you were not loyal to
Yeah.
them, then you can't say that you are loyal to me.
Mhm.
Because it affects what we do. It doesn't just affect us, it affects him. It makes him look a certain way. And why would we want to bring any sort of reproach to God's name? We hollering and screaming on a Sunday morning and, doing all we do on Sunday and then go out there in the world. And this is what I used to say. We live in hellish lives, but we saying that we believe. That makes God look really crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I just, that scripture just takes me.
And what he said, what he said, he said Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, you can others will be like what you do. This is the essence of all that is taught in the law.
Um, I just got a few more nuggets. I'm gonna go back to the question about why God put the tree in the garden. Why do you think God put the tree in the garden? I feel like, and I would say it was to test Adam and Eve on their free will. First Thessalonians 5:21 says, put all things to the test. Um, that's why I feel like God put the tree there. We were created with a free will. If we weren't, we wouldn't have exercised. And then he put the tree there, to test his word. Satan had already wowed out in heaven and used his free will. Now let's see what these would do. And we did use our free will against him. Um, I would say us having free will is the reason why we commit sin. And the devil used our free will against us. He was very strategic with that. He knew he had to know that to get Eve to make a choice. But God told her already what to do. So why would she make another choice to not do it? Like when she was saying, one of y'all said that that Jesus was born knowing no sin. We were too, until a certain point. So, like I said, Satan knows the consequences are heavy for disobeying God. That was the plan. Now, what you gonna do to them? That they don't. I disobeyed you and I suffered. Now, what you gonna do to them? But I feel like God had a plan B already. Satan might have didn't know that, but it was already written that the plan B was Jesus coming and saving us from hell when we was already sentenced to because we disobeyed God. That was the sentence. So that just blessed my heart to know that God had a plan B, and I thank you for that, for correcting our free will. Um, a question will be: do you know a way to control your free will? And she already has said that. I don't have a will. I don't have a will. But I would say to control your free will is through prayer and discernment. Is this what you want from me, Lord? You know, maybe if you would have went back to God, hey, this person in here saying we can eat of that tree right there. And maybe we say no, no, but discernment and prayer is what helps control our free will. Um, just ending with, I would just want to encourage us to use our free will to obey and love the one and only true God. Um, I'm gonna just bring up this. Is anybody in here a movie fan? Like, have y'all seen iRobot? Me and my husband watched it last week. You see iRobot, Lisa? No, anybody seen iRobot? With Will Smith. You see iRobot? Yes, it's 2 years
I
old.
think I might have seen it like
With the robots. He was trying to.
older, like
Yeah.
I
It's
think
older.
I've seen it back in now.
Do anybody remember the storyline? Because I was talking to my husband, I was telling him 2 weeks ago, I was like, yeah, when I think about free will, I think about the movie I, Robot. But since you haven't seen it, in the movie I, Robot, a robot was created. They're supposed to listen to the rules, it was laws, not supposed to disobey the law. Okay, one in particular, one robot did, and they couldn't figure out why. Like, why is he acting different? All the robots, yes, 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 yes. And he was doing his own thing. So they couldn't figure out what in the world, but he had a free will. He had already named himself. They named him. He's like, no, my name is Sonny. He's like, Sonny, who told you your name is Sonny? He had his own thing. I mean, it's a good movie when you watch it, but it's the storyline. So with him having his free will, they wanted to get rid of him. Like, okay, well, we want to basically kill this robot, which can't really kill him, but disengage him. But they end up not doing it. And at the end, wow, hold on, so let me go back. He kept telling them, my father created me for a reason, which was the maker of the robot. He kept saying, like, I have a father. He created me for a purpose. But they wanted to get rid of him, but they're like, you ain't listening. But in the end of the movie, he ended up using his free will to do what was right. So the other robots that took over, the ones that was controlled, had took over. They was controlled by this main source. They had got evil and started to make all the robots act crazy. But Sonny, the one that had his own free will, didn't do what they was doing. So his free will ended up working for him, what I'm saying. So at the end of the movie, all the robots went crazy. Remember they were trying to take over the humans? But then Sonny ended up saving them by having his own free will. He used it like it ended up being bad in the beginning, but in the end, his free will is what saved Will Smith and his friend. Because when the main source was telling him to do something, and he was supposed to obey, he was telling him to kill Will Smith and the friend. And he was like, okay, but he didn't because he had his own free will. So his free will was wanted to save them instead of. So I was like, wow, that's good because they were going to kill something for being different. like you're not listening. But him not listening is what saved them at the end. So that was just a good. I had to rewatch it. I remember something with the robots, with one of the robots acting different. So I watched it again, and that would kind of set on me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but that's the end of my yeah. Like
He
it
was
started off bad, huh? Yes, yes. He just didn't have that in him to listen. He had his own. He was way different. He's the only one. But yeah. So that's the end of my teaching. Anybody else have anything to add? Was that a challenge for you, Apostle? Did you like it?